Well, let's get going, ladies and gentlemen. Right now, the next session and the panelists and key experts should be coming on stage. Well, in the digital-first world that we live in, data is like a currency, probably. But unlike money, once stolen, it can't be simply replaced. It can be replicated, misused, and probably almost weaponized in a ways that can cause a lasting damage, not to just individuals, but to organization as well. For NBFCs, protecting customer data isn't just about regulatory compliance. It is the very foundation of trust. Well, to put this perspective, the average cost of data breach in India has risen over and above 220 million this year. And probably it will keep rising on. In such a dramatic climate, organization demonstrates strong data protection practices, but also safeguarding themselves. But also winning customer confidence and loyalty can be tricky sometimes. In fact, privacy and trust are becoming the fast, powerful sources. Well, let's hear some critical key points from our key leaders. The panel discussion, data protection and data privacy in the digital playground.
So I think RAINs have done their work. Few of my panelists are missing. But nonetheless, second panel of the day, and job थोड़ा आसान भी हो गया है और मुश्किल भी है, because I have two great technologists are sitting with me, and whereas I am more of a management guy and a philosopher, maybe a doctorate in management, but then yes, it is going to be interesting, and yes, I will also try to make it interesting. So in the last panel, if I remember, the last two words were adopt and adopt. Keeping them in mind, I believe this second panel on DP Act, actually it's less, but Manoj ji has been kind and his team, they have added another DP to it. So, so data protection, data privacy in the digital playground is the addition by the team. So which is apt as well, I would say, but though it is called as DP Act. So I think that, with the digitization increasing, of course, we will be talking about privacy and data loss and data being, old oil and all those stuff. But definitely in this digital world, the life is becoming very, very complex. बहुत ज़्यादा कॉम्प्लेक्स होता जा रहा है जीवन, और हर समय our hands, our eyes are always on this instruments, and mind is thinking अरे कहीं मेरा data loss ना हो जाए, और उससे ज़्यादा mind मेरा कहीं मेरा बैंक का पैसा ना चला जाए. तो ये digital world बहुत complex होता जा रहा है, and how this DP Act is helping the customers, helping all of us. What are the expectations of DP Act? What is the expectations of DP Act, the regulator? So ये सब हम थोड़ा कोशिश करेंगे इस पैनल में जानने की. हमारे पास दो एक्सपर्ट्स हैं. One is from HDB, Madhur ji, जिनका अभी recently listing हुआ है, और आज की तारीख में I think again excellent listing, and the pricing today, if I am not wrong, 810 रुपये है, right? So congratulations, Madhur, for this. And then we have from Adhar Finance. I have been told the pricing today of the share is also 520 rupees. So we both have, great guys sitting here. I don't know, they would have definitely created wealth for themselves. पर under DP Act, इनकी wealth में कैसे हम घुस सकते हैं, वो भी जानने की कोशिश करेंगे. Wonderful. So thank you, panelists. Let me just start by having, though we have a lot of time now, because our other panelists, eminent panelists, couldn't make it. One of them is busy with some audit. Two of them have fallen sick, which I have been told, on account of the last rains we had in Mumbai. Okay, so just 2-minute Maggie rule we will have quickly. Just want to hear their brains, prick their brains. What do they feel? What are they going to speak about this DP Act, or about their organizations, how they relate to this, data protection, data privacy. And for that, I think I'll start with Sharad, with you. The time starts now. Please go ahead, whatever comes to your mind. Over to you.
Thank you, Tarun, and I hope I am audible. This is very interesting topic, DPDP, because if you consider, you have to do a lot of things. If you don't consider, you don't have to do anything. That is how it looks at. Okay? So it's again, the beauty lies in the eyes of beholder. So if I am very compliant, obedient student, then I will do a lot of study. If I am not, I will still pass. But with this joke or the fun part of this, I think data privacy is very cliche in the specifically Western country. Whereas in our continent, considering India, the Southeast Asia, it is not a issue. It is not a concern at all, because we are built that way. When in the office, somebody asks or you introduce, you tell your name, people ask your surname. Okay? So this is typically the India, and it's not different anywhere in Southeast Asia when you talk about. I will tell you very interesting observation. I was reading the book, and this is where I learned Data Privacy Engineers Manifesto. In that book, when I was reading the introduction and was talking about, the author was talking about the privacy as a concept and subject. So privacy as a concept or subject was not prevalent or at all available in Southeast Asian countries, specifically starting from the Japan. Now when you look at the extreme west to extreme east, if you start from extreme west, the privacy requirements or privacy awareness or privacy culture is 100. And as you move to east, Japan, it becomes reducing to almost 0. Why? Because in these countries or these continents, asking about your personal information, probing about your details is a very social importance. It is not the privacy concerns. So the point I want to make is that when I said 0, in Japanese dictionaries, there is no word or there was no word for describing privacy. So if you see and Google out, the word for the Japanese word for the privacy will be purabesi, P-U-R-A-B-A-C-Y. So purabesi, which is a nothing but the foreign word which is undertaken in Japanese language based on the privacy word itself. So with this context, what I wanted to highlight is that we are a nation, we are a culture where privacy is not extremely important. However, the regulator wants us to be privately managing our businesses or our transactions, our engagements. And that is, see, another contradiction. If we stop or we become so privacy oriented, what will happen to Meta business? What will happen to Google business? And any social media businesses which all unicorns have been trying to amass a lot of digital wealth. What will happen? So it is very difficult to tell. So our culture itself is a market for these agencies or these platforms. Now coming to the point on the DPDP. We are late. As a country, we are late. 2017-18, European Union GDPR was implemented. I remember when we implemented, when I was with SBI, 3 countries, Singapore and then Europe, UK. This was considered for the implementation. So it is long back now. It's almost 5+ years. The act and everything has been done. The European Unions have also collected a lot of fines as they envisaged from the big social companies. Now the point is that how is it working there? How is it helping those customers or the people in those citizens in those countries? And now how that will impact India as a country and Southeast Asia as a whole market. Because for Westerners or for the European or Americans, the big markets are India and Southeast Asia, which is what is growing economies. China, again, as I mentioned, the 100 to 0 score of privacy, it is same in China, because everywhere you are being tracked. The kind of infrastructure those countries have deployed, that everywhere you are tracked and you are a government asset. I mean, you are part of government assets, information, data. And you cannot excuse. Because I remember one of my old company when I used to visit, and our seniors and all. So whoever Indian when is landed into that country counterparts, Beijing or Shanghai, so you were tracked, which without our knowledge we were tracked. Everybody was tracked and everybody is tracked. So that was manually. Now the technology has overtaken everything. So with this brief discussion about privacy, privacy is important. We respect privacy of each individuals. Our children are respecting privacy more. My wife and we were fighting that we visited some country place for the vacations, and when joint photo was to be deployed on the LinkedIn or whatever social media, she was interested. I was not interested since beginning because I am educated and well aware about privacy, so I was not at all more friendly to put the photo, but she wanted to highlight as a journey whatever we have done. Children said, "Oh, please don't put our photo, you put your photos, you are not authorized to put our photo." So you can see now the world is changing. Our generations, our offsprings, the new Gen Z and what all you call alpha and whatever, there this privacy will be more important, because we are growing our next generations under the influence of so-called 100 number of privacy, and that's why privacy will be important as we grow in the business. Financial services, it is extremely important because it will entail us the financial loss for a want of our unnecessary data sharing. So we have to be very cultured now, though we are old folks, but we also have to be prudent on our privacy. Thank you very much with this.
Thank you, Sharad. I really appreciate you're giving in a very, very simple format, west to east, 100 to 0, and people being treated as an asset in the government. Excellent, and a privacy example of your personal trip. So, Madhur, your 2 minutes, please share.
Yeah, so thanks for inviting for this panel discussion. So just a couple of bits. So as rightly mentioned, we are still on the journey of privacy. So we just initiated. So we have seen a lot of adoption of a digital world, which we have been doing in last couple of years. So because of that, the key aspects of privacy is very important. So till the time, so if you see, whenever I buy a shoe, or even I buy clothes, while taking the bill, they ask for my mobile number and address. So we are so much ready to give all our information easily. So that's the culture which we currently follow, which has been slowly evolving. So as rightly mentioned, a regulator has putting a lot of emphasis specifically on the regulated entities like us. So specifically where we handle the customer data, the onus again becomes the regulatory entities to secure and store their information. So there are two aspects to privacy. One is again the data which is being handled at a customer end himself, how is managing the data. And second aspect is how the regulatory entities are securing the data. So both these aspects are evolving. We are also seeing the DPDP Act around the corner. So there are a lot of new regulations, advisories which will be coming soon. So definitely it will be very difficult for the organizations and also as a customer to adopt and implement. But yeah, we are started on that journey and a long way to go. So I was just reading the newspaper, as of now we've seen instances where the Adhar cards, etc. are being sold 20 rupees, 50 rupees at the grey market basically. So we have to come a long way to cross those barriers, practices, and maybe standardize all the processes.
Thank you, Madhur. Appreciate that. Coming back to you, Sharad, just trying to put up very simple question in terms of regulator. So what are your, as an NBFC, expectations from the regulator, and what are regulators' expectations from you? If you can put it in few points, that will be very helpful for all of us.
Okay. See, as again, I mentioned something about ecosystem. The financial ecosystem in the country is well matured as far as our country is concerned. Though we are calling ourselves developing country, but we are well matured. Given the progress of technology, and I am very surprised, but not surprised earlier 5 years ago, but the regulators themselves have been very tech savvy. Yesterday only, while I was reading newspaper, I saw there were approximately 80 to 100 positions were being recruited by one of the regulators' IT subsidiary company. Yesterday's Times of India, Wednesday. So, point I am trying to tell you is that, and those are all technology roles, including information security, developers and cloud, everything. So I have, in my last 10 years, I have not seen regulatory company recruiting so much. That is the first. So first point is that, yes, regulators in recent past have been heavily using technology to ensure the regulation is well enforced. So that is the first positive. And that is why I was coming to the answer, what is regulators' expectation from us, and while what is financial services as a companies we expect from the regulator. So now 3 important regulators are there in the country: SEBI, IRDAI, and then RBI. So these 3 regulators together, they need to have a very synergistic approach for anything to do with customers, because it is very, very rare that the customer with insurance will not be a customer of bank, and so is for the capital market. So now, if these 3 regulators together synergistically draft all the existing regulations related to KYC, AML, these 2 critical things, if they are able to bring the synergy and reduce the redundancies or the dependencies on any other matters, physical documentations or the digital KYCs, etc., if that clarity is emerged in their regulatory circulars and compliances for the financial services, I think that would be the very first and important achievement. If that doesn't happen, I will tell you classic example. KYC completion based on Adhar and PAN. So one is photo ID is required to identify the individual, and second is the address identification. Now for this, Adhar is adequate for both the things, but still PAN number is taken because financially PAN number is more having more rigor for the credibility of an individual in country. So PAN is also insisted. Investment companies or capital market companies are dealing with the PAN only. They are not much bothered about Adhar. So that is why if you see the mutual funds and all other things, based on PAN everything is possible. Whereas PAN, Adhar, there overlaps for these particular compliances. If it is reduced, it is simplified in the KYC things, is very good. However, coming to the point, the challenge I am telling, original, seen and verified, OSV, this is a curse. Because though salespeople in the field, they are doing the digital KYC for the customer based on Adhar, based on PAN validations, etc. Still they collect one paper from our customers and they sign it and take it. I was surprised. This is not only in the financial services or ourselves like affordable segment I am doing only, but I opened the Demat account with the one of the leading broker agency. They also took OSV. They asked me to print it and say sign it and then send it scanned. I said why? Because see, point is that if digitally everything is done, then still why this is required? So there is enough. afraid or there is a fear that regulator will, when audit, I will be caught because this is not there. So now the second point I am coming to, regulators should synergize, they should bring out a circular which is in line with DPDP regulations so that financial services will have clarity, what to do and what not to do. Second, very important, the inspectors, the regulatory inspections which is happening from all these agencies for the financial services. Are the inspector teams or the regulatory supervisory teams, are they trained enough? Are they able to understand DPDP implications? And are they able to see that in holistic manner? Because it should not happen that like pennywise, I mean the lakir ka fakir, this is what is typically said. So one should be able to apply and have do's and don'ts guidelines. What exactly is the real penultimate or the real incident which financial services not followed? But then do the inspection team have that ability or training to assess it? Maybe not, maybe yes. So there again, as you are equally aware about the DPDP Act, those regulators teams also are aware of that. So there has to be a need of stringent training on the DPDP Act and its implications through the regulatory circulars for the financial services. I think these are my two key observations. If these are sorted out, then I think the our view to the regulator will be very simple, because they have clarified what they want and they will give us time and we will implement that. Now this is one aspect of the regulator's perspective. Now from financial services perspective, this is what I said. From regulator's perspective, what they should be looking at in the financial services. One is synergy, training to the people, and compliance to the DPDP Act itself. So citizens are important. That is why government is pushing this act very hard, but still it has not been able to get into action after 2023 December. Still it has not been come into action. That indicates there are a lot of challenges that needs to be bulldozed or streamlined. I think this is what I can say about regulatory expectations.
Thanks, Sharad. बहुत ही सरल भाषा में आपने बताया एंड यू नो कि तीनों रेगुलेटर जो हैं अपना जो वो चाहते हैं अगर सिंपलिस्टिक मैनर में अगर वो कर दें तो फाइनेंशियल सर्विसेज को कैसे सुविधाएं हो पाएँ. तो वेरी नाइस, यू नो, थैंक यू सो मच. एंड यू नो अदर एस्पेक्ट्स ऑल्सो विच यू शेयर्ड, you know, it has become so clear that I don't think I need to really go back and, you know, read in detail the DPDP Act. So coming back to you, Madhur, and you know, pricking your mind. So again, going back to a very basic question, Madhur, is that, you know, so where are the, you know, new frontiers of threats in the data protection and policy in the DPDP Act?
Yeah, so the threats are continuously evolving. So we have seen a rapid growth in the new frontiers or the new avenues of threats. So I will just highlight few key threats which we are seeing. So first is AI, like is a buzzword, and which has been actively used across the industry, right from that in the technology sector, in the cyber security sector, everywhere. But AI also provides a lot of sophisticated tools and specifically hackers are like using and exploiting them like anything. So they right from designing or preparing a malware till launching a sophisticated attack. So for all these type of avenues, attackers are actively using AI. So how it is helping, at the same time it has been also used by the the attackers to cause a threat to the BFSI sector. So second key threat is again around the supply chain risk. So earlier, means maybe 3-4 years back, we used to protect our own organization, but it is no longer a case. So in addition to our own organization, we also need to protect all our key suppliers or key partners. So the basically threat landscape has been increased from our organization to all our key partners. So like the layered security which we used to implement at our organization need to be extended on a broader level at our partners. So using technology like attack surface management and dark web monitoring, which has to extend to our partners as well. So and we are seeing a lot of supply chain related attacks in last 2 years. So it is very easy for an attacker to like identify one solution or one partner, so that he can get or he can penetrate to 50 or more their clients. So it's very crucial now, and that is, so the threat value has been constantly increasing. Third part which we have seen is, which we recently faced, is on the geopolitical aspect. So maybe 3 months back, all we have seen a lot of warfare which has happened, and we have seen a significant increase in the attack, cyber attack specifically. The new trend which has come up is, earlier the attackers used to target an organization for a specific reason, either a ransomware or specifically having some financial gain. But that is no longer a case. So we have seen many instances where the data leakages and the data has been compromised just for free to the open world, just to defame the organization or a BFSI sector, or specifically India. So those cases have been significantly increased, and those are sponsored groups across various countries. And then in that case, we have to work as a team. So even the regulator has instituted SIMAC and along with certain to help us in how we can tackle such threats. So that is a massive threat which is upcoming. Fourth one is, again, we have seen using the latest technologies and advancement right from AI, the encryption which we are using. We have seen that currently the encryption certificates, etc., which we are renewing in 1 year, we have to renew within 45 days, considering the compromise of the certificates has become very easy. Means that is the prediction of the future. So as of now, the many attackers or the firms are deploying the model harvest now and decrypt later. So they're just gathering all the encrypted data with them, and once they're able to decrypt in maybe next 3 or 5 years, they will able to use that. So that is something which is a significant upcoming threat for us. The fifth one I just want to highlight is, we have seen multiple cases. So as of now, there was a single attacker used to do end-to-end, and we have seen, and he has to penetrate to multiple layers of security to breach. The new trend is SaaS, that is cyber crime as a service. So basically, the entire cyber kill chain which is there has been brought down into multiple service offerings. So one service will take care of recognitions, so they will check for your open passwords, compromised certificates, etc. And the next service will actually do an attack. So that's why the attacker or the attacker community has now diversified ways to attack the BFSI sector, and this has because of this we have seen a significant increase in the data breach and compromise incidents. So those are the 5-6 key threats which we are we are seeing and we are foreseeing, or maybe we are seeing in near future, and both as an individual entity and the regulator has to work together, so that we will able to fight or combat in to face such a massive increase in the threats.
Thanks, Madhur. Fight in a compact manner, as what I could hear, which is excellent. Okay, great. So, Sharad, customer को क्या फायदा है, DPDP Act से, मतलब how will you put it, customer को क्या benefit?
Very difficult question. Again, the answer is that customer can gain a lot, but at the same time, customer can lose a lot. Because when I see a financial services representative, unless I know about you, I will really not be able to offer you the credibility you require, the insurance you require, or the coverages. I mean, in insurance, the coverages, health coverages will be dependent on your health profile. The car insurance will depend on your car profile. your driving behavior, and so on. So customer will lose if at all he do not give the consent to use his information, his or her information. And if that consent is given, then it is binding contract between financial services company and the customer to use the data in a particular manner. So what is happening now, the demerits of sharing data with third party, financial services or our service provider, will be reduced, and demerits should become to zero, because now by statute it will be mandatory for financial services to ensure that customer data is taken for X purpose or a particular purpose. It will be only used for that purpose, and if it is used for that purpose, it will be maintained, recorded, and will be provided on demand to the customer. If the service provider, which is financial services company in this case, fails to do so, then there is a penalty. And that is why there would be a regulatory officer called data privacy officer for every financial services company. For that matter, every e-commerce company, any other companies, they have to appoint this. And that will certainly help as a customer, as an individual, to protect my data to a specific use or requirements only. And that gives me assurance that my government is working towards my benevolence or protecting my information for a particular purpose only, so that I am not flooded with n number of cold calls. The way we receive many cold calls, and it is very difficult to attend every call. And even if I attend that call, it is again difficult to answer, because I will tell you, as I'm talking about this, people ask me, people call me, they may be calling from insurance brokers, they may be asking your health insurance or anything. Now B2B calls, cold calls, they will ask me, do you have cyber insurance? As a company, they will ask me, qualify whether you are CITO of this company. You will say yes, because I have picked up call. As a courtesy, I am answering. Then they will ask me, do you have this product implemented? Do you have cyber insurance? Do you have this? Do you have that? What will you do? Now this is corporate perspective. This is not individual perspective. Now, as I am well aware technology professional, I will not answer it. So many times, many such B2B calls, I have upright said, why do you want to know? Rather than getting into any troubles, I have asked, why do you want to know and why should I tell? That is one. Second, another perspective, any other, like Madhur has told, security is becoming, cyber security is becoming very, very critical. It is utmost important to protect our information ourselves first. So for customers, it is very good, very welcome gesture that government is thinking about customers' welfare, and that is what they are doing. So it is a good move for the citizens, customers at large. However, it will pose a lot of overheads, maintenance in terms of technology and manpower on the companies to ensure that data is protected. So the cost of data maintenance will increase. But it is not so. Today also that data maintenance has to be happen. For example, RBI, if you lose your card or password and your money is transferred and you report to the bank within 24 hours, it is mandatory, or the ball is in the court of bank, not in the bucket of customer, that they shared OTP with wrongfully, still bank is liable. So bank cannot deny that your money I could not protect. So the regulators, the government, they are thinking good for the customers, which is very important. That should be the first priority. Similarly, SEBI, when there are many influencers called financial influencers, they give tips and they amass a lot of wealth by just rigging the particular share scripts. But why do people invest in that? Why do people go there? The very important point was, SEBI regulator, he was presenting there in one of the sessions. The financial influencers, they should have a regulated number. They have made them mandatory to take the license or list themselves. So on their website, 100 fin influencers are regulated. listed. But when you are going to Instagram or any other place, are you looking at that? So, though data privacy, government wants, regulator wants to safeguard the customers, is customer well aware of the same? Customer is still doing the same mistake again and again. So now, though DPDP is very good for the customers, it is very important for us to understand that training to this customer, the information, education and communication, IEC initiatives by the government and the regulators is must to reach to this 130 crore population, and at the same time awareness in the schools for the Gen Z or the upcoming generations. If that happens well, I think we will be able to reduce the losses due to data loss, which is 200 million plus what Shweta told in the beginning. Yes, that will go reducing, but still the self-restraint is most important for the customers and as individuals. That is my take.
थैंक यू अगेन शरद. सो अब ये बहुत अच्छा बताया आप सब के लिए कि 24 घंटे के अंदर अंदर बैंक को रिपोर्ट कर दें, आपका पैसा आपको वापस मिल जाएगा. सो ये बहुत अच्छा बताया, थैंक यू सो मच. सो मूविंग ऑन, मधुर, तो वी हैव स्पोकन ऑन सो मेनी एस्पेक्ट्स रिलेटेड टू DPDP एक्ट, रेगुलेटर, ब्ला ब्ला ब्ला. पर मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि हमारा ह्यूमन रिसोर्सेज, हर एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में जो ह्यूमन रिसोर्सेज है उसका एक लिंक है कहीं ना कहीं वो डेटा प्रोटेक्शन और डेटा प्राइवेसी को मेंटेन करने में. तो आपको क्या लगता है कि ह्यूमन रिसोर्सेज जो हेड्स हैं, व्हाट इज़ देयर रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी, व्हाट रोल द HR शुड प्ले टू एंश्योर कि भाई डेटा जो है वहाँ से कहीं लीक ना हो जाए, वहाँ से कैसे प्रोटेक्ट रहे. तो व्हाट डू यू फील, व्हाट रोल शुड HR प्ले इन दिस एस्पेक्ट?
HR plays a very key role. So for example, if the employee gets onboarded, so it starts from the onboarding of an employee, managing all operations via the employees, and then the offboarding of the employees. So if you see in the latest many cases of data breaches, there is a linkage of a human angle. And though we have a lot of technology solutions to cater other requirements, but this angle is still handled at either a governance level or at a HR level. So there are a lot of scope of work in this area. So though it is a challenging and difficult task, but it is a journey which also HR has to adopt in hand with the security teams. So right from the onboarding of an employee to ensure the proper screening of the employees, background verification is done so that the systems or the processes to which we are handing over, those people are reliable. So that is the starting point which HR has to do. Once the the employee is onboarded throughout his whole journey, so right from onboarding, having a proper induction training. So though we all have attended and we just ensure that it is just a tick mark exercise and did not actively participate, but those has to be little engaging so that the message, the key area need to be embedded in the employees. HR also has to play a role in building a culture within the organization. There are certain critical aspects related to security and privacy which they must adopt and adhere. So or else there will be disciplinary actions which need to be documented and framed in the organization. So HR themselves collect lot of data from the employees in their onboarding journey, right from their the documents such as Adhar, PAN till their certificates and everything. So they also need to be aware of following certain processes like avoid manual intervention, defining portals where the data can be uploaded directly, like having anonymization and like encryption implemented in the HR systems as well. Generally, there is a tendency that HR has their own set of technology teams, and the technology, other technology teams are different, but they need to have a common defined processes to ensure the data for employees are also safe. In addition to this, throughout the journey of the employee, there has to be a lot of interactive sessions which needs to be conducted, keeping in mind privacy. So maybe the privacy or the security celebrations once a year, that helps. In addition to this, the information security or the DPO offices communicates a lot of awareness, emailers, sessions, etc. So those need to be passed on to all employees. So these are various areas where HR plays a key role in ensuring the privacy and security is embedded in the culture of the organization.
I will just like to add here.
Please, Sharad.
This was question for HR officers. My question, while HR is having a large responsibility, but HR cannot make adults behave. It is all individuals' responsibility of a security to protect their security first and then company's security first, as a second point when they are in the organization. The important question is, I wanted to put through to HRs, and answer is also there. That does attitude defines your behavior, or your behavior defines the attitude of an individual? This is very important question, and this has been well researched for many decades, whether attitude changes your behavior or your behavior changes your attitude. So it is very difficult to tell. But my take on this is very simple, that our behavior changes our attitude. Though it was earlier theories were telling that if you have positive attitude, you will do positive behavior. No. If you do positive behavior or you do any behaviors, whatever behavior you do, that will result in your attitude. The moment I ensure that the behavior of my employees or my people in my company is a specific behavior, automatically attitude will change. For example, if a particular, take a SEBI example, if a insider trading, somebody is, there was one, during the COVID, there was very big case it is going on with one of the PMS company. So, if a particular person in that context has breached something, must be severely punished. And that should be set as an example. So automatically what happens, people start behaving in a specific manner, and automatically attitude to and culture towards the desired aspects of security, regulatory compliances, risk compliance, everything automatically is built. So I think HR should more focus on making the behavior right. Automatically attitude will come. Otherwise, whatever mails we send as a training matters to people, I mean employees, to read the awareness, do's, don'ts, etc., that all is very limited effect on the attitude and culture.
So the message need to be passed on that security and privacy is everybody's responsibility and not only the security teams or HRs.
So जहाँ पे HR का नाम आया, भर भर के निकल रहा है दोनों तरफ से. So thank you so much, guys. HR always been having a beating from all of us. Okay. So I think I am sensing that we are closer to the time, though I had a couple of more questions. Mainly I had one question to both my panelists, if time permits. But before that, I want to go back to all my dear audience here, respected audience, for either preparing any questions, or if there are any question which is bothering them, they would like to ask my panelists. Of course, my last question to both the panelists for 2 minutes maybe, if time permits, would be कि इस भारत देश में हम DPDP Act को successful कैसे बनाएं? What should we do that in our country this DPDP Act is successful in our country, would be my last question. But just in case anyone tinkling to have any question and maybe get into my shoes and ask them any questions, I'll be very happy to take that question. The only request, please stand up, introduce yourself, so that we know which organization or what you are representing. Anyone? Any questions? So as usual, as always, Manojji is always raising his hand. Anybody else? Okay, so Manojji, opportunity is yours again.
Any observation on, so to add on to your question, you can just take as a part of this question. How can the language part of it be made everyone to digest.
So language as in what? The act to be in different language, you mean to say, or?
Simplified language.
Interpretation.
How to decode the act.
Decoding,
Maybe
okay.
So that the common person can understand.
Okay.
And not get lost in para 1, section 2, blah, blah, blah.
Ah, okay, okay. Got it. Take it. Anyone? Sharad?
Sir, there are a lot of initiatives which everybody has been taking, including regulator, IEC initiatives, multilingual engagements with your customers. Everything is forced down the throat of all financial services for the betterment of the customer. Yes. However, your question is about the act language and the simplifying the act for the common man or the financial services. Yes. Regulator has to simplify the act through the circular for the financial services companies. Similarly, they should do the awareness for the common person, that is citizens, as well as the customers at large. I think is not much complex language as such. However, simple example, PMAY subsidy program, when it became hit, it does not become hit when it was run through government agencies. It became hit when it was run through HFCs, housing finance companies, or private agencies or banks. It became hit because there was a proper channel. So what I think your question's answer is that the information, whether it is complex or simple, the right channel has to be used by the regulators and the governments to reach to the last mile person. And I think everything will be simple. Thank you.
Yeah, I think very beautifully put, and I think I got the answer also the last question which I wanted to put. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am, please. Can we please provide? Ma'am, please introduce yourself in case possible, and we would be very happy to know your name as well.
Hi, my name is Hina Jaisingani. I'm a legal advisor. So my
Lead advisor at?
Corporate laws. Corporate laws. I specialize into corporate laws area.
Please ask your
Transaction
question.
advisory basis.
Any particular?
Yes.
Yes. Madhur or Sharad? Or
Yeah, I have a very a minor question, consumer-centric approach. So, lot of everyone know here that AI is so much into high probability. So I just wanted to know one thing: how the personal data, is there any because there's so much of in AI tools, everything informations are available. How a personal data can be protected, because a lot of informations are available right now. So if you can just throw some light on this personal data, how much to the extent of the limit we can protect that.
Thanks.
Thank you.
I think Sharad did speak on it earlier, but I would request Madhur maybe to please.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Thank you.
so couple of angles to it from AI is one from a consumer perspective and second is from the organization perspective. So as a consumer, we are using a lot of apps, chat GPTs, AI models, etc. And we end up providing a lot of personal information, a lot of access to our own data to them. So we need to be very careful in using these models and giving the relevant permissions to these AI platforms or AI models. So second is from a corporate or from a corporate perspective. So what we are doing, we have been working on different AI models. So we have seen a lot of AI misbehavior or AI poisoning which has been seen. So what we are doing is we have before deploying any AI models for any decision making, robust testing processes are implemented so that we completely aware that how AI will respond in specific scenarios. So it's a combination of both the governance structure and the testing which will help us in addressing the AI related challenges.
I think you asked very burning question. Many CTOs, CIOs are facing this challenge today, and though regulator has not specified yet, the recent last week only the AI committees, report on working committee for the AI adoption has been released by the RBI. However, while I have been researching on this topic for last 2 years, 2018 I attended IIT Bombay AI for Business Managers program. Since then I have started working on this. The point I am trying to answer you is, AI adoption is inevitable, but it is not necessary for the organizations. Point number one. Point number two, by all 100% full efforts by the organizations, if they deploy AI in everything what they do, they will maximum get 36% of productivity gains. In these 36%, if they have already talented employees, for them AI is not at all useful, and this will only help them to bring up the below average employees' productivity to the better level. So this is the second observation. Now coming to your question, how do we what precautions do we take about AI adoption in corporates and in individual life? In individual life, it is extremely clear that never ever part with your data into any chat agents of LLM or any AI models. Okay, that is the first basic precaution. Now, while you do that, there would be another startup which will come in few months hence, which will tell us the ethics and the data privacy score of a particular engine, whether it is Claude, whether it is Grok, or whether it is ChatGPT, or whether it is Copilot. Which once it comes, okay, it will be easy for us to monitor and measure which agent we should adopt as a B2B or the corporate place. However, till such time, such measure or visibility about privacy and the intent of the engine is not well aware about AI models, we should restrict them to use in the corporates. Per reason is that you really don't know, because to ensure that the right data or the sensitive data is not parted from your organization, the organizations today already are failing for classifying their informations. Again, coming back or going back to the privacy. So the question, the complete control will be easy to not allow any chat engines or AI engines just blindly into any context. One should restrict in corporate only to the text-based engagements, so that basic questions, answers can be done. Because there, the chances of losing a specific sensitive loads of data to the agents or the co-pilots or that sort is very minimal. So there, one should restrict the file-based engagements with these AI models by any means. Then the B2B level, for customer assessments, credit assessments, insurance underwriting, etc., anything else, you do deploy models. Those models, if they are using only metadata, that one, and you as a specifically legal counsel has to ensure in those vendor contracts or service provider contracts that only metadata is being used. And they should give it in writing, and a very punitive action should be captured as a clause into such contracts. I think that will help for next 3 years. By that time, all the metering tools will come. What data is going out of your organization and what is not going. Thank you.
Thank you.
So there are a few offline tools, AI tools, as is rightly mentioned. So if we cut down the access towards the internet, and we can use completely offline mode. So that is the approach where most of the organizations taking. So there is no way the data will be leaked. And specifically, we also considering the use cases where agreements review, policy review, which we also now started that journey.
Thank you. Thank you, both my panelists. Yeah, ma'am, please.
My name is Mita. I run a software company, and today I joined the session very late, just 15-20 minutes back. I might have lost many conversations, but when I show this is data protection and data privacy being we are into software, my question here, the new act of DPDP, which is like digital data protection and all, what do you see? It's a compliance cost to the companies, or it's an opportunity, like it will, maybe I can see, or from your point of view, I want to understand whether it will slow down the digital lending, or it will push the companies, financial services company, to adopt more secure tech-driven platforms.
So, so definitely, because this DPDP journey has started, so definitely the controls such as encryption, anonymization, definitely will have an impact on the speed of the delivery. So definitely, there is an impact which we foresee post implementation of few of these controls. Having said that, I guess still this has been evolving, and we will be looking at deploying solutions which will cater to both the privacy requirements. At the same time, it will not have any compromise on the performance principles. So that is still work in progress in many of the areas. So couple of key factors which I still foresee are like challenges, like DPDP has also suggested right to erasure. Where in case a customer want to erase certain data, and as of now many organizations don't know that their customers' data is kept at various applications. So like formulating a centralized repository and then like deploying those solutions. Definitely that will be a journey ahead, and to begin with, definitely the organization will have an added cost for deployment of these solutions.
Thank you, Sharad. Thank you, Madhur.
Basically, sir,
Thank you, ma'am.
Tarun sir. So basically, regulators are keeping technologies busy. So as long as regulators are active, prudent, then the business for software companies will emerge. The work for the financial services companies will continue to increase. And in this process, customer will certainly benefit.
Thank you, and I think there is a question from ma'am there, but ma'am, if you don't mind, shortage of time, we all are available here. If you could catch us, that will
No
be
problem,
so
sir.
nice
Thank
of
you.
you.
Surely.
Thank you so much. So thank you, Sharad. Thank you, Madhur, for excellent sharing of your views. I believe all the participants, all the delegates, myself have got elated and got a lot of insights from your personal experiences. So thank you, and back to you, ma'am.